Hi, everyone, and welcome into my live. And I'm just here looking over some things, some analytics. And I said, you know what? I want to go live this evening. I meant to go live earlier, and I just wanted to stop through and say, what's going on? How are you? What's happening? If you're new to this channel, I am Coach Sherri, and this channel is about workforce development, career readiness, entrepreneurship, real life, real issues, and real talk. And so tonight I wanted to have some real talk. I'm trying to figure out, I haven't been on Restream in so long, and I'm really just trying to figure it out again because, again, it's been so long. I want to say at least 6 months since I've been on Restream, using Restream. And I really like it. I used to use StreamYard a while ago, for many years. I want to say since probably 2020, 2021. But then recently I changed to Restream. And here we are. So I hope you had a good Monday. It is late for a Monday for me, but I did want to come on. I have a couple of questions, and my first question is, and I wonder, especially if you are a content creator, has this ever happened to you? So the other day, I uploaded a short, and within the first 5 minutes of me uploading that short, I just went back to my YouTube studio real quick, and I noticed that that short had 2,500 views. I was like, wait a minute, 2,500 views, and I just uploaded it. That had never happened to me or any of my content before. And so I was like, wow, I can't wait to see what's going to happen after an hour. People must be feeling this. And then I think it was maybe, I don't know, 30 minutes later, and it was down to 1,200 views. And I said, wait, how did I lose viewership on this video? I had just uploaded it. They 2,500 people came through, so it said, and then it decreased. And I'm just wondering, has that ever happened to you when you've uploaded a video? Have you ever noticed that it decreased like that? And the video that I'm talking about is the one where I went to Lowe's Foods here in Charlotte. And the title is Coffee and Groceries at Lowe's Foods. And it's a short. And the first 5 minutes, 2,500. And now it's down to, let me see, and it's still high, don't get me wrong, it's down to 1.8K views. And I was like, wait, how did it go from one to the other? So again, I have that question, what's going on? And has that ever happened to you with your channel? I know that YouTube is good for taking watch hours, especially if you're coming up to your year anniversary. Apparently, maybe every month they do some type of raking or sweep of your channel to see. I don't even know how they could tell, with your hours, but which hours to take away from you, but they do. And so that's a challenge, getting those watch hours. But I'm familiar with that. But in terms of just right there, right in front of you, that's a whole nother situation. I don't know. It's just very interesting. And I see that Loving Myself is in the building, as well as Sassy. Welcome in, welcome in. How are you ladies doing? Loving Myself, what's going on? How was your daughter's birthday? I know it was this past Saturday, I want to say. I think I kept getting it wrong. But I hope it was this past Saturday. And how did everything turn out for her party? And Sassy, you are so motivating, walking like you do. Oh my goodness, every day you are on that grind. I'm good for a solid 5 days. And if anything after that 5 days, like on Saturday or Sunday, is a complete bonus for me, for sure, because I do walk a lot during the day, during the week. I always try to give myself grace. And, my intention is always to, get up and walk and do things like that. But if I don't really have any place special to go or anything really to do on the weekends. I just kind of shut it all the way down to preserve my energy. But walking is not a heavy lift, and it is preserving your energy because you are getting that natural vitamin D, that fresh air, you're moving your body. And I guess I have to build up to just making that a new habit and just start doing it anyway. Um, it was interesting this weekend here in Charlotte because if you looked outside, it looked like it was so beautiful, with the weather and everything. But then when you went outside, it was a little chill in the air, and I was surprised because the weather had been so warm last week. And we did have rain, but it was also really warm, kind of humid. And then Saturday, I think the high might have been 51 or something like that. But y'all, I don't know how closely you look at your analytics for your channel if you are a content creator, but it tells a lot. And I always love to see the information about the audience. And, I'm on here. I see that a lot of people watch my content via their mobile device. It's at 60%, which is why going vertical, I feel, is more beneficial because I have so many viewers that watch me on their mobile device. And then television is at 19%. And I do try to mix it up, having those horizontal videos as well. But, when you are recording and setting up, do you consider that, with your analytics, do you consider the device type that your audience typically watches your content? So, YouTube is good at putting that out there. So, again, 60% watch watch me on their mobile device. And, if I do everything horizontally, it's going to look kind of weird, I think. You're not going to see the whole picture really if I do it horizontal if you're watching it on your telephone. And then 12% watch on their computer and 7% on their tablet. Now, me personally, I prefer watching on a tablet. I just do. I have an iPad. I love it. It's portable and it's a really good size screen. So that's where I watch most of my content. And then I also find it really interesting with the age, the age range. Um, and so that's why it's really hard for me to have that target audience. Of course, I do. I'm over 50, so I always target the over 50 crew. But in reality, it's the 35 to 44-year olds that really are rocking with my channel. So I want to thank you. Thank you for being so supportive and being that it's actually 25-year-olds or higher now. So 25 to 34 is 23%, 35 to 44 is 22%, and then 45 to 54 is 17, 55 to 64 is 16%, and 65 and above is 16%. So, the younger generation, I guess, are seeing more value. I know, especially in the mornings, I will talk about job search utilizing LinkedIn, even though there's all ages out here in the workforce. All ages are trying to re-enter the workforce, pivot within the workforce, and are always looking for ways to have some type of professional development. But for some reason, I think that the content that resonates with them the most would be that workforce development. So that's the 25 to about 44-year-old range. And I find that very interesting. I hope you all can hear me pretty well. Um, I'm recording on my iPad, but what is going on? Have you all ever experienced that with any of your videos where it was this large number at first and then it dwindled down? Another thing that I noticed on my analytics that was interesting is that I have mostly male viewers. So 59% are male and 40% are female. And I'm going to tell you, the female viewership has definitely gone up because it was a lot less than that before. And I welcome everyone in, and I'm glad that my information resonates with everyone. I like to think of my content as food for thought, conversation starters. I want you to continue, the topics with your circle. So when you are breaking bread with friends and family, when you're hanging out, maybe something that I said resonated with you where you're like, you know what? I heard Coach Sherri say this, or you may want to try that, to maybe help someone that's going through and they are seeking answers from you, and using what I share with you as part of the resources that you're sharing with your friends. And TWP Popcorn is in the building. Listen, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to put into the Easter baskets for my young adult children. I love the bag basket that your sister made for you that you shared with everyone on Saturday. She had a little bit of this, that, and the other, but it all made sense. And I know that you loved and will use all of those items. And that's the thing. When you're buying a gift for someone that can absolutely get it for themselves, that maybe they have just about everything and it's hard to find that perfect gift, and you want them to use it. You just don't want to get them things that they're going to put in the corner, say thank you, and never touch it, or they re-gift it to someone else. You definitely want to get people items that they're going to utilize right away. And so I've been thinking ever since Saturday, watching your video, your live, when you were unboxing, but it was a bag, but unboxing it. And I was like, okay, let me think of all the things that my young adult children love. And they all have different interests, but they do have some similar interests. So some things I can buy probably in bulk and, kind of divvy it up, but they have their individual personalities. And you know what? When you are a parent of multiple children, it's so important to understand each of their personalities and definitely address them and deal with each child according to their personality. Don't try to fit all of your children into one box. A lot of parents I've noticed have tried to do that. They, you know, um, don't even consider one of the others likes or wants or needs because they just kind of put them all in one pot. And it's so important to understand what each of their strengths are, their weaknesses are, and really help them through all of those areas in their life. And it can be challenging. It can be, and it is in some cases easier to to get, it's easier to just kind of put them all together, especially if they're around the same age. And all of my children are 20 months apart, my young adults. And so when they were younger, it was definitely a lot easier. They're all going to be part of this activity. But, I have two girls and one son. So you definitely, after a while, the son has to pull away. And then the girls, they develop at different rates because they're different ages. But you want to have your children as individual as possible. I know you probably got a lot of calls for and texts for her reference. And if you want, if she has a website or anything, you could definitely drop it in the chat here so that, other people that may have an interest in getting a unique, customized gift basket, not just for Easter, it could be for birthdays, for baby showers, for anniversaries, for congratulations. Graduation is coming up. It could be a graduation basket. There's a lot of different occasions that I can see what she does really blowing up. And I hope she doesn't give up. I hope that she continues and let it grow. I do know a few people that in the past have had gift basket businesses, and the thing is, it's not a basket. Like she probably can put it in any type of thing that makes sense. Like for you, that duffel bag is perfect. And she was calling me. Oh, she was calling you. Okay. Um, but I'm sure that that duffel bag is going to come in handy. I know you said you were going to Vegas. It sounds like for a conference of sorts. So that'll be a great carry on, and who would have thought to make a carry on part of the gift basket. Like that is the basket, and you just put a lot of different items in it. I think that is so appropriate. Something that's useful. You know, a lot of people get bags now. We're trying to be sustainable, right? So getting those gift bags and such is not as sustainable as if you got them a bag that they can actually use. That's why I'm trying to remember whose live I was on. I think it was I can't remember. I can't remember whose live I was on yesterday, but she was going to a baby shower and she said that um okay, thank you for putting her link. Okay. Um but she was saying how she was invited to this baby shower and they didn't want them to bring the gifts to the shower. They wanted them to send it from the registry so that the gifts can be delivered to their home. And I was like, you know what? That saves a lot of time and energy. Just think when you get a baby shower gift, now you have to find a gift bag or wrapping paper and you have to put it all together, buy a card, and do all these things. And that wrapping paper, especially if it's wrapping paper, you know it's going to go right into the garbage once they take it off. And if it's a gift bag, they're just going to use it as a bag to carry the gifts that were wrapped. And that's all a waste. And they're not going to use those gift bags again. Maybe they might reuse it for another gift in the future, but 9 times out of 10, they're not going to use them. But this way, it's delivered right to their house. They don't have to worry about if they don't have the shower in their home, transporting all those big items. Because that's another thing. Everybody's like, okay, well, who's going to take the crib? Who's going to take the stroller? Who's going to take these big boxes of diapers, in their car or whatever? And everybody has to take some items in their vehicles and take it to their home. And it's just a lot. So I was like, you know what? I bet you go into a shower where everyone forwards their gifts to the new mom and dad. I bet you those showers are lit. I bet they are a whole vibe because you coming in, you kind of carefree, you have the high energy, you're not carrying anything all heavy, hot, and you have to walk and all this, that, and the other. You just have to worry about getting yourself there. I love it. And so I think that that's a great idea. But again, the gift bag baskets, but just not putting it in a basket, but putting it in something that a person could actually use, I think is really cool. I know one of my daughters is a realtor here in Charlotte. And whenever she has a client that closes on their homes, she gets them a welcome mat for their front door and a beautiful basket and a candle, but the basket can be used to hold things like magazines, even though people don't have a lot of magazines, but maybe towels in the bathroom, or maybe even depending on what the basket is, what type it is. Sometimes it could be wood for their fireplace, just a variety of things, just making it very useful. And I like that a lot. But yeah, I was just here thinking about what's really going on with YouTube. I know that they are in the midst of trying to figure new things out. I've been getting requests for surveys. I don't know if you all get those too. Sometimes if you go into your YouTube studio, they'll have a survey and they ask, do you have a few minutes to fill it out or whatever? They ask you a variety of questions, and sometimes if I have time, I'll fill them out because I just don't know where that's going. I'm like, maybe if I'm cooperative, YouTube will start inviting me to things or considering me to be the next thing. Um, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm claiming it because why not? Why some people may ask, but I ask why not. So they are trying to kind of reconfigure because there's a lot of new things coming out, with the different platforms. They're trying to keep up, they're trying to stay on top. And a lot of people think sometimes when you are number one or number two, whatever, top three, let's say, that's when it's the hard work begins. And that's in anything. That's not just social media. That's in your company, your business. That's, if you are an athlete, that's if you are anything in your life, personally and professionally, if you're trying to be the best of the best, it's more than a notion. To just getting there is a climb, but staying there it's even more of a climb. So that's the thing that people need to consider when they're striving towards a big thing, to that next big thing. How are you going to maintain it? How are you going to stay that way? You're going to always have to evolve. You can't stay doing it the same way because people get bored, especially nowadays since COVID. People really get bored. They're always on to the next big thing. There are so many platforms out here now, ones I had never heard of until recently. And apparently they've been out for a while and everyone's just trying to shoot their shot. Everyone is becoming very computer literate and, doing something on a computer isn't like how it used to be where you had to know the codes, the HTMLs and all that. Now you could just, do your thing, upload, and you're done. Even like with websites. I remember when you really had to hire someone to create your website. Now I am reconfiguring my website and I have hired someone to help me do that because there's just some things you want to tighten up. You want to just make it more sharp, more professional, more streamlined, and that's cool. But in general, there's all these different things popping up because it's just that easy to do now. But we have to figure out, do we want to take the easy road or the road that's long and has strength and is a good path, a good solid path. I look at YouTube as being that solid path. They've been doing pretty good with pivoting as things have been changing, but they still do have a long way to go. And I guess that's good for them to have a long way to go because as they hire new people, change up their teams, they're able to continue to evolve, to be innovative. And that's what we all need to do. We need to all continue to evolve and continue to grow. But I just wanted to come on here real quick and say what's going on, what's up, what's happening. And as TWB Popcorn will say, what is popping? What's going on? You know, um, I don't know. It's just been kind of quiet too with YouTube. A lot of people are utilizing the other platforms, but you don't want to spread yourself too thin. I don't know about you, but I like the tried and true. I'm like, listen, as long as they keep evolving and trying to stay relevant, I'm just gonna rock with them, and that's just how it is. That's just how it is. But I'm also trying to figure out, looking at my analytics again, when I look at my content and I see that, shorts, videos, and live streams are doing pretty good. I just want to have a mixture of them and I was listening in on another content creator the other day. And, it's like a formula you would think, but I think the formula is customizable, if that makes sense. So I don't think there's any one formula of how to really be a great content creator here on YouTube that will be a one size fits all. So what works for you probably won't work for me, and what works for me probably won't work for you. But you could take a variation of it and kind of twist it and turn it so that it does fit you. So when you think about how you can upload content on this platform, there's a variety of ways. You can have shorts, you can have pre recorded videos, live streams, you can do posts, almost similar to like a Facebook type of thing where you can have inspirational quotes. I know Sassy does a really good job with that. And, just pictures and things of that nature, and just kind of put yourself out there. And I was thinking about it the other day and I was like, you know what? I get a lot of views on my shorts. But of course, shorts are 2 minutes or less or 3 minutes or less, depending. And I was thinking, I think that the shorts is a way to have people be introduced to who you are as a content creator. But then my shorts are part of my real life, you know? So I don't know if my real life and then my workforce development, career readiness, entrepreneurship talk, I don't know if that resonates with the same people that are interested in what I do in my real life. And for me, it all makes sense. It's, it's all connected because it's all me. And so I'm not one without the other. I'm all of that. And some people try to put themselves in a box, and that's okay, to be very targeted in what they do. And that's their lane. Those are their people, and there's billions of people out here, so they're going to find the right people. But for me, because my life is so varied, I want to be able to showcase my variations here as well. So I feel like shorts gives people kind of like a sneak peek into who you are. I do get a lot of new subscribers from my shorts, and I thank you. So if you are tuned in, listening right now, thank you for rocking with me and saying, you know what, Coach Sherry's all right. She all right with me. I'm rocking with her content. But then I think the videos for me are the pre-recorded videos are more informative. That's how I look at it. And that's how I try to do it. More like the vlog aspect of things. I try to use my podcast as well. Eileen Smith, who is also a content creator, gave me, well, not just me. Listen, sometimes when I'm in lives and I'm communicating with the content creator, I'm feeling like I'm the only one. Like, oh, we're having this conversation. So even when I'm in TWP Popcorn's lives on Saturdays, I'm just talking to him. So it's not like, it's a whole lot of people. I mean, there's a lot of people there, but I don't always consider that because I have questions. And, when they respond verbally, then it feels like a one on one conversation. I do enjoy the connecting with other people in the chat as well. But Eileen Smith, she was saying how if you have really unique or powerful content, if you have content that is going to really develop your listener, content that is aligned with your brand, you really want to protect it. You know, over this past year, well, I want to say 2024, I've known so many content creators that have lost their channels, lost monetization, and they were just like, yo, what is going on? They just snatched it. What's happening? What's going on? And it was surprising. And they have, they can get it back and everything, but they have to climb back to get it back. And it's a long, hard journey sometimes. And so she was saying, Eileen Smith was saying that, if you have rich content that's evergreen, content that's yours, that's unique, that's specific to what you do, who you are. If you have content that basically could be your workshop, your presentation, and that's kind of how my pre-records are. I'm pulling out from my archives, things that I coach groups on, and information that I feel will be very helpful and that you could implement into your life right away. And she was like, you want to protect that. And so, one of the best ways to protect it is to put it on an outside podcast that can then transfer it onto YouTube. And it's an extra step, yes, but it's worth it because if anything ever happened to your YouTube channel, like if anything was to happen to my YouTube channel, my content that's on my podcast now, that's another particular upload or tab that YouTube has. So they have the shorts, videos, lives, podcasts, and posts. And those are the five different ways that you can upload information onto this platform. So with the podcast, what I'm able to do is record it, pre-record it, and upload it onto a particular podcast site that I have like a not a membership, but I pay, on a monthly basis for. And let me see if I can't remember it off the top of my head. Why can't I remember it? Okay, it's called Libsyn, Libsyn. I'm gonna put that in the chat. Let me see. And I'm just gonna let you know it's the podcast. All right. So this particular site is like, it's a platform, and you put your podcast on there, and then it filters your podcast to every podcast that you can think of. I mean, Apple, iTunes, um, what's it called? Spotify, and even YouTube is one of the, places that you can also set it to go directly to once it's uploaded. And so even if YouTube did something, my content will still be on. It's about, I don't even know, maybe like 8 different podcast platforms that is on. Maybe I need to retitle this. I'm just talking. But it's really good, and I really appreciate Eileen Smith for sharing that. And she did a whole live on it. So if you don't already have Eileen Smith, and I'm gonna put her name in here because this is her YouTube name too. Oh wait, I could barely see. Hold on. And so she always has really good information about different tools to use, that she recommends, different platforms, how to use them, how to get the most out of them. And I just really appreciate that, because some of the things that I put on here, especially my pre-recorded videos and the videos that I've tagged or identified as part of my podcast, that is content for real, y'all. That is that real talk. That's that workforce development. That's that career readiness. That's that entrepreneurship. That's that professional development. And it would break my heart after pouring it out here, on YouTube. And I know it's evergreen. It's content that's going to last forever. But if YouTube ever snatched my channel or did anything with that content, it would be lost. So you want to protect that good content that you have. I see Coach Mean Ring is in the building. Hello to you. This is not a podcast. This is just this is just a spontaneous live. I wanted to do a live tonight, and that's what I was talking about, Coach Mean Reen. I don't know if it was your live or someone else in Are You Locked In, and talking about the best way to kind of spread your content out, be it shorts, videos, lives, podcasts, posting on your wall and things of that nature. And so, what I was saying about the podcast that I do, that I got this information from a content creator, Eileen Smith, is that you shouldn't upload straight up on YouTube and only YouTube with your podcast. You should record it and put it on another platform. So, I had put it in the chat. It's called Libsyn that I use. There's others that you can use too, but Libsyn is cool because you upload your podcast and it filters to all the other podcast platforms, including YouTube. And then from there on YouTube, I'm able to put it onto my podcast playlist. And if anything was to ever happen to my channel for whatever reason here on YouTube, I will still have that podcast content all over, Spotify, Apple, all that. And I really like that. It definitely gives me more comfort because my podcast, I put a lot of effort into it. I do my research. I go back again into my archives with content that I share with some of my groups, that I coach, and just information that I know others would find important. So I just wanted to share that. I don't know. I just, I'm talking about what's going on and trying to figure out YouTube and looking at my analytics. So again, with my analytics, when I look at my shorts, I definitely get more viewers on my shorts, but because they're so short, it doesn't really amount to much. But then I get quite a few. I get my next highest on my pre-record videos. I think people, if they're not in your live, 9 times out of 10, they don't really, go into your live. They don't look at it again. I do when I go into someone's live. If I'm saying watching the replay, I'm watching the replay. I'm commenting. I'm having my own little discussion, and in the hopes that you'll respond. But I drop down into the comment section and really get it in, as if I was in the live. But I know that a lot of people don't do that for whatever the reason. I think because lives are so interactive, and if you don't see what the other people are really talking about, and if the content creator isn't really speaking out or expressing what the comments are, you don't even know what's going on. You don't know what people are saying. So that can be challenging. And that's why a lot of people, I think, don't go back to really look at the full replay because they can't follow. It makes it hard. But when you have a pre-recorded video, and this is just my own experience, and again, everyone's channel and content is customized, so your analytics for your channel may speak a different story, but this is the story that my analytics is telling me. And it's saying that, for the videos, people are coming back and watching my videos, they're sharing my videos, because I'm giving them bite size information. I'm giving them baby step information, and they're seeing the value in that because it's not long and drawn out. It's just I'm hitting and going, hit and quit, go and go, whatever. um and so I'm able to also get more of my brand out. People can hear more of who I am as a professional on my pre-recorded videos as well. But my live streams, I feel, are designed for my tribe, for my viewers to get to know who Coach Sherri really is. I mean, I always try to have a topic, or, be intentional with all of my uploads, be it a short, a pre record, or a live. But oftentimes, like this one, my lives will veer off into other directions. And so you'll be able to get more of who I am, more real time of who I am. And that's what I really like, that piece as well. I like it all. And I know some people don't prefer one or the other. A lot of people don't like shorts at all. I like all of it. I love the variety of it. I love that a person can come to my channel and it's almost like a smorgasbord. It's a buffet of content that they can choose from. Again, my shorts show one side of me. It shows my real life outside Sherri, and my videos shows the coach Sherri, and the lives is a combination of both. It's Coach Sherri and it's Sherri. So I really like that. That's the vibe that I want to have, because what I do on YouTube is my legacy. This is my future's future. So I'm looking to great grandchildren, nieces and nephews, dear friends and their children, my future's future, that may stumble upon, not may, but will stumble upon my content and say, wow, she was doing that back in 2025. That's what's up. And so I like that. I like that notion. I like that opportunity of this, of this whole concept. So when I look again, just even from the past 28 days, because again, in the studio, you can look back as far as, you know, 28 days, 7 days, 365 days. But when I look at my 28 days, my last 28 days, in my shorts, I got 2,700 new viewers. Now, they're not necessarily new subscribers, as you can see from the number count of how many are rocking with me. But one day, Goldie, one day. So 2,700 new viewers. My videos, my pre-records, I got 829 new viewers in the past 28 days. My live streams in the past 28 days, I got 571 new viewers. So with that being said, I have to keep doing it, all of it, right? And then returning viewers in those same 28 days, my shorts, I got 113 returning viewers. So When they looked at one short, they came back and looked at another short, or maybe a pre record or a live. My videos, I got 93 returning viewers. And now, this is the thing with the live stream, I got more returning. I got 152 that returned. So, the story that's telling me is I have to do all of that. I have to keep doing all of that. And now, with subscribers, in the past 28 days, I got plus 15 or more subscribers from shorts. I got 10 or more new subscribers from videos and 9 or more subscribers from my lives. And the story that's telling again is I have to keep doing all of that because those numbers really are not that far off from each other. And all of those numbers are significant and mean something. So even though there are people that don't prefer one type of upload or another, or one type of content or another, I find that me being me and true to myself, authentic, is what's going to help me with my channel, my growth, and with who I am and how I'm showing up on this platform. And I love all of that. I don't have to be anybody else but me in all shapes or sizes, in all venues and arenas. And that's how I live my life every day. All I know how to do is be me. And, I did a video not too long ago about that. Other people are taken. Other content creators, their style, who they are, is taken. So find out what works for you, what makes you comfortable. Ask yourself what's going on. you know, I'm asking YouTube what's going on because they tripping with taking things out, and you 5 minutes I get 2,500 views, and then 10 minutes later it's down to 1,800. That doesn't make sense. So what's going on? But ask yourself what's going on. Ask yourself, who are you? How do you want to show up? Not everyone looks at YouTube as legacy work. Not everyone looks at this as a passion project. So, what is it for you? And that's how you need to show up. So, ask yourself what's going on, what's really happening and popping with your channel. Look at your analytics, determine what type of uploads work best for you. Your analytics may tell a different story. I know mine is telling me I need to do everything, everything. And looking at the hours that most of my viewers are, are really tuned in, I have to also be cognizant of that as well. And it looks like, I have been going live every morning because I'm always going to do a car chat. I just am. I love it. I don't, I just am. And I'm doing it for more reasons than one. And I can't wait till the other one reason happens so that it can really be what it needs to be. But I love doing car chats. It's like just before I can get my day started, let me just say something. Let me go on here real quick. And it just kind of, I don't know, it helps me jumpstart my day. I love it. And but I noticed that not a lot of my viewers are, I don't know, well, they're probably off to work or getting their own day started. Heck, they probably are maybe listening to me in the background and can't drop down into the chat. Whatever the case may be, I know that when I go live in the evening, like around 6 or 7, that's when everybody is outside. That's when I get a lot of activity in my lives. And looking at my analytics, it tells you when your viewers are on YouTube. And absolutely, my viewers are on YouTube after 6. So I need to reconfigure when I go live. And so loving myself is saying that YouTube is just another way of collecting fond memories, but we're getting paid for it. Exactly. Exactly. And you're sharing those fond memories with people all over the world, loving myself, literally. I was at the beach last weekend, Daytona Beach, for a wedding, and it was so beautiful. I had such a good time. Oh my goodness. I really, really enjoyed myself. The weather was beautiful, perfect. The bride and groom just blew me away. Their love story is really special. I love it. But I, took a lot of video footage, live and pre-records on the beach. And one live that I did, one of my viewers, one of the members of my team, she said, I've only been to the beach twice in my life. And I was like, wow, okay. So vicariously through me, she was at the beach again. And so that's the thing. We're bringing our life and the things that we see, the things that we know, we're bringing it to people that may not have an opportunity to get to it, to experience it. And that's a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing. And if people would, kind of look at it like that, I think that they may even change the type of content that they put out there that they want other people to consume. Because again, if you're looking at this as legacy work, and we all have young people in our life in some form or fashion that we are in some way responsible for. We could be a mentor to them. They could be our own children, our nieces, our nephews, a good friend's children, godchildren, whatever the case may be. As they grow, they're young, maybe they're young now, I don't know, but as they continue to grow, and as they do more searching on social media or Google or even AI, listen, I was on one of the AI platforms searching something for what I do, and literally one of my videos was one of the suggested resources. One of my videos was a suggested resource for the topic that I was looking up. So we don't know what our young people in the future are going to be looking up, and whatever they find, if it's us, I know if it's me, I'm going to speak for myself. If it's me, I want it to be something so dope. I want it to be something so positive. I want it to be something so empowering. I don't want them to, you know, find a video of mine and it's, I mean, we can have fun. Now, listen, I'm all for it. I listen, but I'm just saying in general, you want it to have to reflect who you truly are. And that's something that, you know, another thing that being a content creator does. It allows you to do. So, if nothing else, what's going on. And I hope that I was able to share some more information that you may not have considered for yourself. If you are a new content creator or older content creator, I don't know what I would call myself. I've been on YouTube for Sweet 16, but I've been a content creator probably seriously for about 4 years on and off. I just have so much going on the outside until it's hard for me to, really 100% focus like I want to. However, that's an excuse. And we all know excuses are the tools of the weak and incompetent. So I'm not going to use that as an excuse. Just like I was saying, I used to go live in the morning. Let me see. Wait, you got you in SEO? Is that the yeah, you have it too. You have an SEO too. Hmm. We all do. We don't know who they are, but we got one. And so, I used to go live in the morning, but I think I'm gonna go back to my pre-records in the morning. I'm going to, you know, focus on my shorts on the weekends because that's the easiest time for me to get them out. And then I'm going to focus on trying to do, not trying, but doing my lives in the evening. I mean, what does it hurt? I talk to my people all day. They know. And so I could just spend a good like 10 minutes in the morning doing a pre-record and a good hour in the evening doing a live. I don't think that's too heavy of a lift. I'm not going to put that as a challenge or anything. That's just what I'm going to do. And I see Keith Jenkins is in the building. Salute to you. How are you doing? How's everything going in the DMV area? I hope everything's going well for you. I'll probably be in that area in May for sure. Um, but I hope you're doing well. Listen, if you all are in here, if you don't mind to give this live a thumbs up if you've been enjoying the content so far. If not, I understand. I get it. And you may not be able to get to your device. And also, if you're watching this in the replay, drop down in the comment section and let me know. Just say, Coach Sherri, checking this out on the replay so that we can continue the conversation down there. But yeah, I think that's going to be part of my strategy because for me on this platform, everything that's available makes sense. And so right now, doing lives, pre records, and shorts makes sense. And so, what makes sense for you? Do you know what makes sense for you right now? What are you doing with your channel that's new or different, or have you even thought about it? You know, those analytics are they are that's the data. That's the data. And yeah, and look, TWP popcorn, I bet you if you were to search something along the lines of the things that you talk about, I bet you one of your videos will come up. I bet you. I believe we all would, because there's so many great content creators out here talking about some really interesting things, some unique things. And I just believe that we all are searchable. We all are. We're all searchable. Type in your last video and see what comes up. I bet you it come up. And that is the craziest thing because you know how AI works. It gives you all these words like, oh yeah, you can say it like this, but then it also gives you images. They'll also give you videos, especially if you request it. But sometimes you don't have to. Sometimes it just gives you those things. And yeah, I came up. I said, hold on, hold on. So it's really interesting. It is. But that's the way the world is going. So when they search you, what they find? What do they find? That's the question. That is the question. So everyone, what's going on? What's really going on? Don't get discouraged. Read your analytics, let it tell the story, and it'll tell you what your next move should be. It'll tell you how you should grow your channel. It'll tell you what people are looking for from you and in what format. And whatever format has the highest numbers, do more of that. Just do more of that. Everybody always wants to fight what's true. They want to do what they want to do. Like, I don't like doing it like that. I don't like shorts. I don't want to do shorts. Well, shorts might like you. So in the meantime, put a lot of shorts out there. Do the videos that you love, but remix them into shorts. And yes, the remix oftentimes are about 15 minutes, but you can also upload your long form and cut it down to where you need it to be for that 1 minute and just take a minute of it and do what you do. You know, just try to keep it and re-upload it as a short. And that'll be your long version, but you're also satisfying your viewers that may prefer your shorts. Shorts are videos too. And again, I feel like a lot of people like the bite size, but I feel like with the longer versions of the lives that people just get a really good glimpse into who you are. And that's really important on here. There's so many listen, there's some people I see on YouTube and I'm like, are you even real? I don't think there's a lot of real people out here. And people want to see real people. People want to hear real conversations. I'll do my podcasts and I'll try and do them as professionally as I can because I'm really trying to hone in on an objective. You know, each of my podcasts, they have an objective, and I want to make sure that you get them. I want to make sure you have action steps so that you can implement them in your life right away. I want you to take notes, all of that. And that's all well and good, but not everybody want to hear that all the time. And so that's why the lives are good, because I could just basically let my hair down and let's talk, you know. But then the shorts, it's like, all right, I'm just going to give you a little piece of it, and that's it. And that's all you have to do. But you have to do it for what's good for your channel and the types of people that are attracted to your channel. All right. I didn't know where this live was going. I just know I wanted to talk about what's going on. Again, just seeing what those numbers were doing. Um, I wish there was a easier way on this platform, but unfortunately there's not. But anything that's easy at the end is not worth having anyway. So I can't wait when I get to 100K like Keith Jenkins in here, and I can look back and say, I remember when. And that will be my testimony to those coming up behind, to let them know, don't give up. Don't give up after a month. Don't give up after 60 days or 6 months or a year. Don't give up right after you get monetized. Oh my goodness. So many people were struggling, you know, like, oh, they're having these watch parties and all this, that, and the other. Oh, please, you know, do this, do that. I'm trying to get my 4,000 watch hours. That's all I want. Da, da, da. And then you hear nothing. It's crickets because they got burnt out. Slow and steady wins the race. So you want to stay the course, but do it on your terms. Don't feel pressured. Don't get peer pressured into it. You know, a lot of times when, you know, people come together as a tribe and, you know, people are growing at different rates for whatever reason. Don't feel like you're peer pressured to do what everyone else is doing. Do what you can do. So this way you don't get burnt out. You won't drop off, because that's what happens. They drop off. Oh my goodness. I've seen it so many times. I mean, I've been a part of so many great groups that it's like, man, this is a, you know, they're cool. They're a whole vibe. And, you know, they all did well for a moment and then they disappear. And YouTube is is fair weather. They're about what have you done for me lately. So if you're not putting out content, they don't really they don't really promote you. They don't really put you out there. And you know, as it is, you probably are connected with so many people because you probably like so many different types of content. And when you like that, they're gonna just really promote the ones that are here today and not the ones that were here yesterday. So I see Loving Myself is saying she didn't mean to delete Keith. Oh, you wanted to go to his channel. You was trying to click on him. Oh, okay. Well, I still see him here. I don't know if you don't see. I still see him over here on Restream. But I'll put his. Maybe can you see him? His Okay, you put a short out on Saturday, Loving Myself. Okay. I'm gonna have to check it out. Yes, and there's so many things you could take shorts of. Oh my goodness. If you are like I was just in the grocery store the other day and that's the one that got like 8 one it initially it was 2.5 views, but now it's at 1.8. And it's my favorite grocery store in Charlotte. And they have, I mean, it's so interesting in there. It really is. You can have like coffee, they have a barista, you can get wine and beer, you can eat in there. I mean, it's a lot of different things. And so, okay, perfect. I'm glad that you went to his channel. And so I just like had my phone and I just put it in vertical and I just did like a 360 all around it. And that was my short. So you can do that in so many different places. If you go to the park, if you take your kids to the park, if you um are walking outside, if you're cooking, if you know, are driving. Well, maybe not if you're driving, but if someone else is driving you, just take scenery from where you are, because again, people from all over the world may never get a chance to see your part of the country. And it's really interesting. I know for me it is, and I've gotten comments from on my videos where I'm taking them places, and they're like, "Wow, thanks for showing us this." They may never come, but they are aware of it now, and again, vicariously through me. Yeah, you did it for your daughter's birthday. You took a videos. Oh, okay. Yeah, and that's the thing. Sometimes if the Wi-Fi is not good, it could be the quality will be blurry. That's why I've learned when I go to the beach, I really can't go live when I'm walking on the beach because the Wi-Fi is so bad. And I really want the quality to come through. I don't want to shortchange you. So I typically will do a pre-record and then, no matter how long it is, 30 minutes, whatever, and upload it like that, and in the hopes that people will see it, and they do. They come back all the time to see it, especially with the ocean sounds and stuff. But when you go to a place, even like an indoor party place or anything like that, like it sounds like you may have done with your daughter, sometimes the Wi-Fi just is not doesn't support it, and you just have to do a pre-record in that way. Hmm. Yeah, I know. Keith Jenkins, his tribe, Loving Myself, they do a lot of emojis. So if you're not familiar with them, it may seem like they're spamming a little bit, but that's how they do. And actually, a lot of emojis really helps with the algorithm. So I'm really grateful for that. But y'all, I'm going to sign off. I appreciate you all for tuning in. I hope you all have a good night, and I will definitely see you tomorrow. Stay safe, and remember, He carried the cross for you and for me. So God bless you too. Thank you.